Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the class of 11th English Medium. The subject is Statistics, Chapter 4, that is Measures of Dispersion, brought to you by Vitan Sir. In my previous very lengthy tutorial, you can find the link here, we completed two important topics. One was the standard deviation, second was the coefficient of variation. Now, in this tutorial, which will be the last tutorial of this chapter, I'm going to explain the last topic and one or two other topics. The topic which I'm going to explain first is combined standard deviation. Now, we are familiar with this term combined. In the third chapter, when we studied about the combined mean, the concept was that we had two separate groups of data. We had their number of observations and we had their averages. Now, I want to combine both the groups of observations and then find a common mean for that combined group. So that mean was called combined mean. So that means we can follow along with the same concept and we should be able to calculate combined standard deviation for the same purpose. What if we have two separate groups of observations and we have the standard deviations, and now I want to calculate the combined standard deviation for the combined group. So for that purpose, we need to understand the concept here. If we have two groups of observations G1 and G2, that's group 1 and group 2, and we combine these both groups into a single group named G, then the individual mean and SD of these groups are also combined together into a single mean and SD. Now, that means we call that single mean as combined mean and single SD as combined SD. We know that we denote that combined mean as X bar C. So similarly, we will denote the combined standard deviation as SC. Now from the third chapter, we do remember the formula of combined mean. Let's see. Combined mean n1 x bar 1 plus n2 x bar 2 upon n1 plus n2. Now this is the formula for combined mean, where n1 and n2 are the number of observations while x bar 1 and x bar 2 are the means of both the groups. Next, combined standard deviation. Now this is a bit lengthy formula. Under root n1 into bracket s1 square plus d1 square plus n2 into bracket s2 square plus d2 square divided by n1 plus n2. This is a lengthy formula. This is not a simple standard deviation, just adding and getting an average. We are combining two standard deviations into a single value here. So this formula is necessary for that. Let's see what is the meaning of these formulas. N1 and N2, we know that they are the number of observations for both the groups. S1 square and S2 square are the variances of both the groups. Now S is standard deviation and its square is variance. This is what I already explained in my previous video. So S1 square is the variance of the first group and S2 square is the variance of the second group. Now D1 is the difference between the mean of the first group and the combined mean. Okay, so we need to find this difference and then square it to get D1 square. Similarly, D2 is the difference between the mean of second group and the combined mean. So that means that for the calculation of combined standard deviation, combined mean is compulsory. If you can't calculate, if you don't calculate combined mean, then you can't calculate combined standard deviation, because in the calculation of combined standard deviation we need d1 and d2, and d1 and d2 are calculated using the difference between the first mean and the second mean with the combined mean. So first calculate the combined mean and then calculate d1 d2 and then calculate the combined standard deviation. Of course, we are not going to get it properly without taking some examples. So I am starting with exercise 4.6. It's a pretty small exercise with only two sums in it. Now, the first question from the exercise 4.6, the information regarding marks of the students of the school is given below. We have to find the combined standard deviation from that. Data is given as in the table: number of students, mean marks, standard deviation for division A and division B. Now number of students in division A are 50 while in the B are 60. So these are the two values, N1 and N2. Mean marks in division A are 60 and division B are 48. So that would be x bar 1, x bar 2. Standard deviation is just S. S square is variance, S is standard deviation. So for division A, S is 10 and for division B, S is 12. So we don't have S square, we have S. So in the formula, we will have to square the value of standard deviation to get the variance. Now, combined standard deviation, to calculate it, we need to calculate combined mean first. The formula, as we know, N1 x bar 1 plus N2 x bar 2 upon N1 plus N2. N1 is 50, x bar 1 is 60, N2 is 60, x bar 1 2 is 48. Okay, so number of students for division A multiplied by mean marks of division A plus number of students of division B multiplied by mean marks of division B divided by total number of students, that is 50 in division A and plus 60 in division B. So the multiplication and addition will be something like this. Then add the numerators and then divide it. You will get 53.45. So the average marks of the total number of students are 53.45. So this is the combined mean. What we need to calculate next is D1 and D2. How do we calculate D1? That is the mean of the first group, that is 60, minus combined mean, that is 53.45. So 60 minus 53.45, 6.55. Similarly, D2 will be mean of division B, 48 minus 53.45, that is negative 5.45. Now we are going to use these values into our combined standard deviation formula. First write the formula here: N1 into S1 square plus D1 square plus N2 into S2 square plus D2 square divided by N1 plus N2. Now one by one put the values. N1 will be 50, S1 is 10 and square plus D1 is 6.55 square plus N2 is 60, S2 is 12. As you can see from division A and division B, standard deviation of division A is 10, so 10 square. Standard deviation of division B is 12, so 12 square, plus negative 5.45 square divided by 50 plus 60. We will square the values first. So 50 into bracket, 10 square is 100, 6.55 square is 42.90, 60 into bracket, 12 square is 144 plus negative 5.45 square is positive 29.70 upon 50 plus 60, 110. Next we are going to add the values in the bracket. So 100 plus 42.90 is 142.9, 144.29.70 is 173.7. So multiply the brackets, that is open the brackets and multiply them with the 50 and 60. You will get 7145 plus 10422 divided by 110 and add them. 17567 upon 110, that is 159.7 root, and after root it is 12.64 marks. So the standard deviation of this data, the combined standard deviation of the whole data is 12.64 marks and the combined mean is 53.45 marks. Let's take another sum. Try to understand how the system goes, how the steps go. Okay, so let's take another sum. Question number 2. Following information is available for two sections of a factory. Obtain combined standard deviation. Now the data is again given in a table: number of workers, mean time of production in minutes, variance. Okay, now in the question, in the previous question, standard deviation was given, which is just S. Here variance is given, which is S square. That means the square is already made. We don't need to square it again. So in the place of S1 square and S2 square, we will directly put these values. We will not square them because in the question itself they were squared. Section A, section B. Number of workers 10, 40, mean time of production 25 minutes, 20 minutes, variance 16, 25. Starting with combined mean, that is N1 x bar 1 plus N2 x bar 2 upon N1 plus N2. So number of workers of section A multiplied by mean time of production of section A, 10 into 25 plus 40 into 20. divide by number of workers of both the sections, 10 and 40. 10 into 25, 250, 40 into 20, 800 upon 10 plus 40, 50. Total of 800 and 250 is 1050 divided by 50, which is 21 minutes. So the average time of production of the combined two sections, that is combined mean, is 21 minutes. So we need to calculate D1. First section A mean is 25, 25 minus 21 is 4. Section B mean is 20, so 20 minus 21 is -1. We will put all these values into our combined standard deviation. Let me remind you once again, in the question variance is given already. So S1 square and S2 square is given rather than just S1 and S2. So this time we will not square them, we will write them as they are. So N1 is 10, S1 square is 16, already given in the question. D1 is 4, so 4 square, plus N2 is 40, S2 square is already given 25, and D2 is -1 and square, divided by 10 plus 40. We will square the values which we need to square. So 4 square 16, -1 square 1, remaining values as it is, 10 plus 40 is 50. Now we will add the values in the brackets and then multiply them. That means open the brackets and then add the numerators. So we get 1360 upon 50. We will divide them to get 27.2 and the answer is 5.22 minutes. So the combined standard deviation of the data, that is combined standard deviation of the two sections of the factory, is 5.22 minutes. Okay, so that's the actually end of exercise 4.6. Basically no other exercises are left in this chapter apart from final exercise, but one very important topic is left which may be asked for MCQ or 1 mark. So I have just given the concept. I'm just going to give you a concept and one sum for that, and then we will be done with this chapter. You will have to practice yourself some sums from the final exercise. Okay, let's move on towards that last topic and then let's wrap this chapter up. Okay, now this is a type of a thing which we have seen in the third chapter. Y is equal to bx plus a. That means usually whatever variables or whatever measures we calculate is for the variable x, and y is a variable which is related with x in this equation, that is bx plus a. In the third chapter we learned that if in the place of x we put x bar, we can get y bar by solving the equation. If in the place of x we put mx, that is median of x, we can get median of y, and so on. So that means that same type of thing can be applied in our measures of dispersion also, but in a little bit of a different manner. In the third chapter, in the measures of central tendency, we used b and a both values. B is the co-multiple of the x and a is a constant which is either added or subtracted from x. But in the measures of central tendency, a is ignored. That is, that plus a doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatever you add or subtract from the variable x, the measure of central tendency does not change. But when you multiply it with b, the value of central tendency changes. Okay, well, sorry, my mistake. Value of dispersion changes. So let's see how this relation works. If we have range of x with us, to calculate range of y, we have to multiply the modulus value of b with the range of x. Okay, for all the measures of dispersion the same thing is done. If we have a quartile deviation of x, to calculate quartile deviation of y, the modulus value of b is multiplied with quartile deviation of x. If we want to calculate mean deviation of y, the modulus value of b is multiplied with mean deviation of x. For standard deviation of y, modulus value of b is multiplied with the standard deviation of x. And to calculate variance of y, the square of the b is multiplied with the variance of x. Okay, so this is a kind of relationship which is there between x variable and the y variable. One illustration we will take to understand this concept. Okay, that is illustration 28. The range, quartile deviation, mean deviation and standard deviation of a variable x are 10, 2, 3 and 5 respectively. If y is 5x plus 3, then find all these measures for y. Now in the question we can see that the range is 10, quadrile deviation is 2, mean deviation is 3 and standard deviation for x is 5. Now the equation here is 5x plus 3. So plus 3 is to be ignored because that is just a and it doesn't matter in the measure of dispersion. But the multiple of the coefficient of x, that is 5, that is important. That 5 value is important because that is b, and that value is going to be used for the calculation of these measures for y. For variable y, the value of b is 5 as seen from the equation. Therefore, if ry we are supposed to calculate, then it would be modulus 5 into rx, that is 5 into rx is 10, so 5 tens are 50, therefore range of y is 50. Similarly, for quadrile deviation of y, 5 into quadrile deviation of x, that is 5 into 2, that is 10, so the QD of y is 10. MD of y, 5 into MD of x, that is 3, so 5 into 3 is 15. Here the dot I am putting is not the decimal point, it is the multiplication sign. As you go into higher studies of statistics, you don't put multiplication sign each and every time. You replace that multiplication y sign with the dots here. So 5.10 is not there, it is 5 into 10, 5 into 2, 5 into 3 and so on. So MD of y is 15. Sy, which is 5 into Sx, that is 5, that is 25. So SD of y is 25. Okay, my dear students, so that will be the end of today's tutorial, and with that it will be the end of this chapter. Thank you very much for being with me throughout this chapter. I completed this chapter in a lot of hurry actually, because the examination of my school students was coming, so I had to complete it fast. I hope you guys liked the way I completed this chapter, just explaining the concepts and taking the exercises. If you have any comments or suggestions, put them in my comment box below. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not. You can also share this video to your friends to teach them so that they can learn in these times of lockdown. Thank you very much once again, and next time I will come forward with the new chapter, that is the 5th chapter, the skewness of the frequency distribution, and we will understand that also. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Welcome students to With Answers Unacant Academy. That's better way to success for you. I am Vitan Vora and I teach accountancy, statistics and social science. You can contact me on my cell number 919426310184. Please give a sub to my channel and also check out my other video playlist which you can see on the screen. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.